It was a rainy Thursday morning when Dr. Michael Harper first met Sarah. The hospital corridors were quiet, a faint hum of fluorescent lights overhead, the antiseptic scent mingling with the petrichor seeping through the open window. Dr. Harper, a neuropsychologist with over 20 years of experience, had seen countless unusual cases, but nothing had prepared him for what would happen in that dimly lit examination room. He remembers the exact moment. Sarah, a 34-year-old woman, sat across from him, her hands trembling slightly, eyes wide, yet unnervingly focused. She began speaking in a voice that was calm but urgent, as if the words had been waiting decades to escape. She described a city, its streets cobbled, markets bustling, a bell tower that chimed at precisely 3 o'clock. Details poured out of her. The smell of roasted chestnuts, the laughter of children playing by the fountain, the sorrow etched on the faces of strangers she claimed to know intimately. Dr. Harper's pen hovered over his notebook, paralyzed. These were not the vague, half-formed recollections he had expected from a patient struggling with memory issues. These were vivid, precise, and impossibly accurate memories of places she had never visited, events she had never witnessed. As she spoke, the room seemed to shrink, the walls closing in on Dr. Harper's disbelief. Quick flashes punctuated the narrative. Sarah's hands sketching a street scene she described, a sepia-toned photograph appearing in her folder, and the trembling of her lips as she recounted a child's laughter she had never heard. Each detail seemed meticulously real, yet impossible. Dr. Harper's mind raced through every neurological explanation he could summon. Was this confabulation? A rare seizure-induced memory phenomenon? Or something far stranger? His heartbeat quickened as Sarah's voice wove a tapestry of moments from the distant past, moments no one alive should remember. And then, everything changed. She recounted a name, the name of a woman who had lived and died a century ago, and Dr. Harper's research later confirmed its historical existence. Every rational explanation he held seemed to crumble beneath the weight of the impossible. The cinematic tension builds as he alternates between careful note-taking and the eerie realization that Sarah's memories are more than imagination. There is fear in the doctor's chest, a creeping awareness that science may not have all the answers. Sarah's own emotion fills the room, a mixture of wonder and terror, the anguish of remembering lives she had no claim to. The camera, imagined through narration, lingers on the subtle tremors in her hands, the glistening in her eyes, the small gasp as she describes the death of a child she could never have known. Every word, every pause, every breath is layered with profound emotional weight. By the end of that session, Dr. Harper is left in stunned silence. The verification of historical details she had described, combined with the emotional authenticity of her recollections, leave him haunted. He realizes he is no longer merely observing a patient, he is witnessing a phenomenon that defies explanation, a puzzle that will challenge every principle he has spent decades understanding. The audience is drawn into the mystery, heart racing, minds questioning. Could memory stretch beyond the self, beyond time, even beyond life itself? The room, once ordinary, has become a chamber of enigma. Sarah sits quietly now, as if sensing the gravity of her own words, and Dr. Harper, with notebook trembling in hand, understands that his life, and the science he trusted, will never be the same. Sarah's life, before that fateful meeting, was quiet, almost unremarkable on the surface. She grew up in a small suburban town in Ohio, the youngest of 3 children, with parents who were loving but cautious. From an early age, Sarah displayed an uncanny intelligence, a curiosity that stretched beyond her textbooks. Teachers noted her ability to recall intricate details from stories she had only read once, and her friends often marveled at her empathetic nature, how she seemed to intuit their feelings, even when unspoken. But alongside these gifts were subtle anomalies. She would sometimes describe events in vivid detail, insisting they were memories, yet they occurred long before her time. As a child, she recounted streets she had never walked, faces she had never seen, and homes she had never visited. Her parents dismissed it as an overactive imagination, the kind of fanciful storytelling common in children, but even they occasionally felt an unshakable chill when she spoke. Dr. Harper explains that the human brain stores two primary types of memory: episodic, the personal moments we experience directly, and semantic, the general knowledge we acquire over time. Confabulation, he notes, occurs when the brain fills gaps in memory with fabricated or misattributed details. In clinical settings, confabulation is often observed after trauma, seizures, or degenerative disease. Yet Sarah's case did not align with any of these explanations. There was no neurological trauma, no cognitive decline, and her memory tests were near flawless in conventional terms. Her experiences did not seem to be the product of a malfunctioning mind. They were too detailed, too consistent, too emotionally coherent. Through cinematic reenactments, we see Sarah walking through her apartment, staring at family photos with a distant gaze, tears welling as she recounts a child she never bore, a friend she never met. She cries softly over a death she has never lived, trembling at memories of joy she should not know. Scenes of her pacing at night, scribbling sketches of places she has never been, emphasize the burden of carrying memories that are not hers. The audience feels her isolation and confusion, sensing the weight of a mind caught between reality and something unexplainable. Interviews with medical experts interweave with her story, voices explaining how the human brain is capable of astonishing feats, but rarely anything that could account for the historical precision of Sarah's recollections. The emotional resonance builds as we witness Dr. Harper struggling with the ethical dilemma inherent in her care. Should he push for answers, risking her emotional stability, or step back, respecting her humanity while accepting that science may fail to explain her? Her struggle is not merely academic, it is existential. Each session leaves her drained, frightened of her own mind, while simultaneously seeking understanding and validation. As she looks at Dr. Harper, eyes wide with a silent plea, it becomes clear that helping Sarah will demand not only medical expertise, but compassion, humility, and the willingness to confront phenomena that challenge the very foundations of neuroscience. Dr. Harper knew that intuition and observation alone would not suffice. If Sarah's experiences were to be taken seriously, they required rigorous investigation. The neuropsychological evaluation began with an array of tests: memory recall, pattern recognition, language comprehension, each designed to probe the boundaries of the brain's capacity. The room was stark and sterile, the walls lined with monitors and shelves of medical equipment, the faint hum of machinery punctuating every pause. Sarah sat in the center, her posture tense, eyes alert yet haunted. Every session felt like a careful dance, each question a delicate probe into memories she insisted were hers, but could not belong to her. High-resolution MRI scans revealed brain activity in regions associated with autobiographical memory, but with an unusual twist. As Sarah described streets she had never walked, faces she had never met, and events she had never witnessed, these areas lit up in patterns that defied conventional understanding. Dr. Harper studied the glowing images, tracing the neural activation, noting inconsistencies with known neurological conditions. He observed hyperactivity in the hippocampus, a structure critical for memory consolidation, paired with unexpected engagement in the prefrontal cortex, an area responsible for imagination and planning. These patterns suggested something extraordinary. The memories were neither typical confabulations nor simple fabrications. They carried an authenticity that was impossible to ignore. Cinematic visuals interweave with the narration. Maps of cities Sarah described overlay historical photographs. Timelines she recalls flicker alongside archival documents. Her drawings appear on screen, eerily precise, each line a window into worlds she should never have known. Dr. Harper's colleagues weigh in, their voices blending skepticism and fascination, acknowledging the limits of current neurological science. The tension builds as Sarah, aware of the skepticism surrounding her experiences, wrestles with her own fear. fear of being dismissed, fear of being labeled delusional, and fear of the memories themselves. She is exhausted, emotionally raw, yet determined to understand herself. Despite the clinical setting, the atmosphere is charged with an almost mystical energy. Each revelation deepens the mystery. Each verification of historical detail amplifies the stakes. Dr. Harper never lived through, of people who had walked the earth long before her parents were born. The words tumbled from her lips with astonishing clarity, painting scenes so vivid they felt as real as the hospital room around her. Dr. Harper leaned forward, pen in hand, heart pounding, as Sarah described a 19th century marketplace, the smell of fresh bread mingling with smoke from nearby chimneys, the sound of horses clattering across cobblestones, the laughter and bargaining of townspeople. Every detail was precise, from the architectural patterns of the buildings to the worn embroidery on a merchant's coat. Cinematic flashbacks unfold as the narration continues. Sepia-toned streets, children playing, women carrying water from fountains, and men huddled around crates of goods. Viewers are transported into a world Sarah insists she has never physically known. Historical research later confirmed many of the facts she described: streets, family names, and even minor details of daily life that had long been forgotten. Dr. Harper, usually anchored firmly in the empirical, felt a chilling mix of awe and disbelief. He began consulting historians, archivists, and anthropologists, each corroborating the details she provided with documents, maps, and letters. The tension was suffocating. Sarah's memories were accurate, yet they were hers in a way no logical explanation could account for. Emotionally, the impact on Sarah was profound. She often wept quietly, overwhelmed by the intensity of her recollections, mourning lives she had never lived and celebrating joys she had never known. The duality of these memories, the beauty and the grief, pressed on her with relentless force. There were nights when she would awaken screaming, reliving deaths she could not have experienced, or laughing at moments of happiness so intense they left her breathless. Dr. Harper observed this struggle closely, torn between wanting to help and fearing the emotional toll. The hospital room, once a neutral clinical space, had become a theater for these impossible memories. The narration intertwines scientific reflection with existential unease. Could these experiences be glimpses of past lives? Are they echoes of the collective unconscious, an imprint of humanity itself? Or are they rare, unexplainable neurological phenomena? Experts weigh in, offering theories from cryptomnesia, memories absorbed unknowingly from stories or media, to dissociative processes, yet none fully explain the historical accuracy and emotional depth of Sarah's recollections. The audience is left suspended between skepticism and wonder, pulled into the uncertainty that defines the human experience of memory. By the end of this section, the viewer senses both the beauty and the horror of Sarah's gift, or burden. Her memories defy conventional understanding, yet they are emotionally undeniable. Dr. Harper, sitting in silence after one particularly detailed session, acknowledges the limits of science in the face of lived experience. The haunting question lingers: how much of what we call memory is truly ours, and how much might exist outside the confines of a single lifetime? The cinematic beat holds the audience in suspense, leaving them eager yet uneasy for what comes next. The nights grew longer for Dr. Harper. He would sit alone in his office, files spread across the desk, fluorescent light casting harsh shadows on the walls, the quiet interrupted only by the low hum of the air conditioning. Sarah's memories haunted him, invading his thoughts like spectral echoes. Every historical verification he completed only deepened his unease. He could no longer dismiss her experiences as coincidence or neurological anomaly. He faced sleepless nights, alternating between fascination and fear, wondering how to present his findings responsibly, how to help Sarah without exposing her to ridicule or disbelief. He was caught in a dilemma that stretched the boundaries of medicine. How do you treat a mind that remembers lives it never lived? Meanwhile, Sarah wrestled with her own inner turmoil. She vacillated between terror and awe, the weight of her impossible recollections pressing down on her chest. She would pace the hospital corridors late at night, whispering names and places no one could verify, drawing diagrams of streets and buildings that seemed to exist only in her mind, yet matched historical maps she had never studied. Her laughter could suddenly give way to tears as she relived a lifelong tragedy in exquisite detail, crying over losses she had no reason to feel. The audience feels her vulnerability, the intimate terror of living inside a mind that straddles the line between the known and the impossible. Cinematic narration emphasizes Dr. Harper's struggle. He meticulously cross-checked Sarah's stories against historical records, yet every verification left him more unsettled. He questioned his own professionalism, his belief in the scientific method, and even his understanding of reality itself. Could a brain, functioning normally by all clinical standards, access memories beyond its own lifetime? He grappled with ethical dilemmas too. How much should he expose to the public or even document? Could revealing her case damage her emotionally, or worse, put her sanity at risk? Each session became a careful negotiation between discovery and protection, the tension almost tangible in the quiet hospital halls. Sarah's journey, equally compelling, exposes the human side of this neurological mystery. She experienced fleeting moments of joy when recounting vibrant scenes of lives she never lived, yet these were always tempered by fear and confusion. She wondered if she was losing her mind, if she was being punished for seeing things others could not see. Dr. Harper watched as she grappled with existential questions no doctor could fully answer. What defines identity? How much of the self is bound to a single life? How do you carry grief for someone you have never been? By the end of this section, the audience feels the growing tension, the impossibility of the case, the profound emotional stakes, and the moral weight on Dr. Harper's shoulders. Others intrigued, each offering a perspective that underscored the complexity of Sarah's condition. Cryptomnesia, a phenomenon in which forgotten information resurfaces as though it were one's own memory, was considered, but it could not account for the historical precision she displayed. Dissociative identity manifestations, too, were debated, yet the depth and emotional consistency of her recollections suggested something beyond known psychiatric patterns. Cinematic visuals illustrate these theories, neural networks glowing on a screen, maps of historical towns overlaid with Sarah's sketches, timelines connecting events she described to archived records. As the experts speak, viewers are drawn into the mystery with a mix of awe and unease. A neurologist discusses how extraordinary memory retention can appear in certain rare conditions, yet admits that nothing in her case aligns with documented examples. A parapsychologist cautiously raises the possibility of consciousness extending beyond the conventional lifespan, suggesting that what Sarah experiences might hint at a phenomenon science has yet to measure. The tension is subtle but persistent, a reminder that the human mind, while endlessly studied, still holds secrets. Through it all, Dr. Harper reflects on how Sarah's case has reshaped his understanding of the mind. He admits that the clarity of her recollections, coupled with their emotional authenticity, challenges the foundations of memory research. He recounts sleepless nights spent pondering questions that are both medical and existential. Could memory exist independently of a single lifetime? Could consciousness, in some form, persist beyond death? His voice, calm yet charged with emotion, conveys a mixture of wonder, fear, and profound respect for the limits of human understanding. The audience is invited to consider these questions alongside him. The narrative emphasizes ethical implications as well. If consciousness or memory extends beyond life, what responsibilities do doctors and scientists bear in acknowledging or documenting such phenomena? Sarah's experiences, though deeply personal, have opened a window into questions about identity, morality, and the nature of existence itself. Cinematic pacing slows here, allowing viewers to dwell on the implications, feeling both the awe of discovery and the quiet dread of the unknown. By the end of this section, a sense of suspended wonder pervades. Some phenomena, while partially explainable, defy total understanding, and Sarah's story stands as a testament to the mysterious interplay of brain, memory, and consciousness. The audience is left to ponder how much of reality is constrained by the mind, and how much might lie beyond, waiting to be glimpsed in the lives we carry within us. Years have passed since Sarah first stepped into Dr. Harper's office, yet the echoes of her memories continue to resonate. She still attends therapy, learning to navigate the weight of experiences that are not entirely her own. The process is slow, sometimes painful, yet transformative. There are days when she smiles at a memory of a life she never lived, feeling the warmth of joy that is hers in an inexplicable way. Other days she pauses in quiet despair, mourning losses that should not belong to hers. The hospital corridors, once scenes of disbelief and tension, now carry the soft rhythm of routine, yet the room where she first revealed her impossible recollections remains a silent monument to mystery. Dr. Harper has changed as well. He continues his research, meticulously documenting each session, each verified detail, but with a humility that was absent in his earlier career. The case has reshaped his understanding of the mind, the fragility of memory, and the boundaries of consciousness. He reflects quietly on the human need to define, categorize, and explain, recognizing that some truths may remain elusive. His voice and narration is measured, yet tinged with awe. Science has its limits, and within those limits, Sarah's experiences stand as both a challenge and a revelation. Cinematic visuals punctuate the narration, close-ups of Sarah's eyes glistening with unshed tears, her hand tracing a line on a map she once drew, fading historical photographs overlaid with her sketches, landscapes bathed in golden light. The imagery is both beautiful and unsettling, evoking the persistence of memory and the elusiveness of life itself. The audience is drawn into a contemplative space where the boundaries between past and present, lived and remembered, blur into a hauntingly poetic tension. Ethically, emotionally, and scientifically, Sarah's case leaves a legacy that transcends individual experience. Her story is a testament to resilience, to the human capacity to carry extraordinary truths with grace and courage. It also serves as a reminder to medical professionals. Curiosity must be tempered with compassion, and the unknown is not a failure of science, but an invitation to humility. Dr. Harper concludes, not with answers, but with reflection, leaving viewers suspended between wonder and unease, between the known and the unknowable. The documentary closes on a quiet note. Sarah walks along a riverbank at dusk, the water reflecting the fading light. Her sketches tucked under her arm, the camera lingers on her silhouette, then shifts to Dr. Harper reviewing his notes alone in the office. A question hangs in the air, unresolved yet profound. Can memory, consciousness, or even fragments of the soul transcend the boundaries of a single life? The haunting beauty of this unresolved mystery stays with the audience, an invitation to ponder the fragile, miraculous, and mysterious nature of human existence. In the end, the story does not resolve. It transforms the way we perceive memory, identity, and the extraordinary possibilities hidden within the human mind.